You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
The smell in here, a putrid mix of garbage and fermenting fish. It's overwhelming to anyone who gets near.
People says to me, it can't be that bad. I says to them, come over and live here for a month.
When he was on vacation with his family and got this picture through a text from his neighbor, his house halfway to rubble. He sued Como Trucking and Excavation and others, alleging instead of demolishing the building located at 24 Theodore Drive, Mississauga, the defendants demolished the building owned by the plaintiffs.
22-year-old driver was recently pulled off the road for speeding in a car that police say was held together with duct tape and wishful thinking.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. We are back. This is our 198th try at Keeping Canada Weird. So far, we're unbeaten. We've successfully done it every time. Let's see if we can do it again. But let's start off a little slow here. How are you doing? Let's just start with some light stuff.
Oh, yeah. Keep it light. Yeah, I'm doing well. It's, we're recording on a Wednesday night. It's really cold here today in Nova Scotia. So I've been struggling with that mentally, emotionally, physically. But I'm getting through it, and I'm here with you now. We're both warm. I assume you're warm.
I have a sweater on, yeah.
You have a sweater on. Yeah, no, you look cozy, and I'm excited to get on with the show.
Yeah, well, before we get on with the show, we have to introduce our drinks tonight. For people new to the show, we have a segment at the beginning, which we call the special drink segment, and that's where Aaron and I basically compete for who has the most special drink. I was at Costco earlier, and they had a big box of Remedy brand kombuchas. This is a mango passion flavor. I've never had this flavor before. Kombucha is not for everybody, but when you get a taste for it, it's so delicious and refreshing, and it's supposed to promote positive gut health. But let's see if it tastes good. Oh my gosh, I love mangoes. I love this drink. I'm excited for tonight. What do you got over there?
I'm really happy for you. I just want to state for any new listeners, it's not a competition of who has the most special drink, because in God's eyes, every drink is special. And I think that it's more of a celebration of special drinks. So just for the record.
And what a special drink can do for your night.
Well, I'm going to make another call out to the unanswered company of Cove Soda. I've got a Cove Soda here. They have not answered our calls. We talk about them on the show often, and it is going unanswered, and it's starting to bother me a little bit. It's starting to hurt my feelings.
It is weird. They're a local in Halifax soda company. They do a pre or probiotic soda, which is unique. It's 0 sugar. They have a variety of tastes and flavors. So it's so up Keep Canada Weird and Aaron and Jordan's alleys. Yeah. We reached out to see if we could do anything. We would say their name every 5 minutes for a box of pop. They didn't even respond. But anyway, don't let that get in the way. Don't let that make your drink bittersweet. How is it? What flavor is it?
I got grapefruit. So it's Cove grapefruit flavor. I don't think I've tried this one yet, so I'm excited to give it a shot. Here we go. Okay. And crack. The taste. Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Good. I'm glad you're happy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that will keep you moving because we got a lot to get into, and we're going to start fast. There's been one story we've been following on Keep Canada Weird over the past 2 or 3 weeks. It's a story that's really rocked the people of Eastern Canada, specifically the people of Newfoundland. I'm, of course, talking about the Taco Bell that opened up and has basically taken the province of Newfoundland by storm and made everybody there crazy. But we have a lot of developments in the Taco Bell story to discuss. But first, we have a listener named Rob who has a question about the ongoing Taco Bell craze.
Hey guys, Rob from Toronto here. Big fan. Just I wanted to ask if you would know this or could find out, but ever since the Taco Bell in Mount Pearl opened up, curious to know if the sanitation department there has noticed an uptick in flushes. Keep doing what you're doing. Just thought I'd ask that quick question since, Taco Bell's litter everywhere here in Toronto. Big fan. Thanks so much. Bye for now.
So I guess Rob is hinting on some possible correlation between the sewer and septic systems and the opening of Taco Bell. I don't know if they've noticed a difference or if they're even looking into it.
I mean, I've eaten Taco Bell a number of times throughout my life, and I don't recall any immediate bowel emergencies that took place shortly afterwards. So I think that's more of a myth, and I'd like to defend Taco Bell a little bit here because, I enjoy Taco Bell. Yeah, it's fast food, but any fast food is not good for you. It's
more than fast food, though. I feel like Taco Bell's I feel like it's very like lowbrow, even for fast food. Compare it to Wendy's, compare it to even McDonald's.
Really?
Taco Bell is not that classy. No, and if any
I'm not saying it's classy. It's certainly not classy, but
Okay.
it's a fast food restaurant like any other. I think the quality of the food is what it is, I guess we'll say. It's not something that you would label as a good food. Same with McDonald's, same with Wendy's or Burger King or wherever you like to go.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a worse taco or a worse burrito than the ones at Taco Bell? Be honest.
I gotta say, I like them more than like there's a taco chain in Canada. I don't know where else it is, but Habaneros.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever eaten
Yeah,
Habaneros?
absolutely.
I like Taco Bell more than
Oh
Habaneros.
my God,
to be
let's move on.
perfectly honest.
Okay, let's move on. Habaneros.
Oh, come on. Defend Habaneros now.
I shouldn't need to. I think anyone listening to this show that has tried both Taco Bell and Habaneros will say, don't even waste your time responding to that. They're not even in the same league. But
Oh,
we're not
come
here to
on,
debate
come on.
the quality of Taco Bell. We're here to talk about the craze that is surrounding Taco Bell's opening in Newfoundland. And I got to give a bit of an update here. People are wondering if things are still nuts. Things are still nuts there. In fact, it's only gotten worse. Let me read you a little article with an update. And this will be a continuation of our update last week. We heard of the man, Rob Thompson, who gave the ultimatum to Taco Bell because it was the lineups to the restaurant were blocking his parents' driveway. Well, buckle up. The Taco Bell traffic controversy in Mount Pearl has escalated. Rob Thompson says the formal demand letter and ultimatum he sent to the city earlier this month went unanswered and that no meaningful steps have been taken to reduce the traffic queues that regularly block his parents' driveway. According to Thompson, residents have gathered 14 sworn affidavits documenting ongoing safety issues and are preparing to file for injunctive relief, a move that would ask the courts to force the city to act while a broader legal claim proceeds. He argues that the city has failed to enforce its own traffic bylaws, which prohibit vehicles from stopping in a way that interferes with traffic flow or creates a hazard. While traffic has reportedly eased slightly during the weekday work hours, Thompson says the long lines continue. Thompson has also criticized comments from the mayor suggesting the issue is a matter of perceived risk rather than an actual safety threat. Thompson says those remarks downplay the reality faced by residents trying to enter and exit their homes. With no response from municipal enforcement or police, residents now see the courts as their only remaining option. So, yeah, it's getting nasty. They're filing for injunctive relief, which is basically to tell the courts, like, we're taking this whole thing to go to court, and while that process takes place, we want you to, compel the city to do something about this until it gets settled in court. So, like, things are, like, dead serious. A Taco Bell opening in the city of Mount Pearl has created literal chaos.
Yeah. I wonder if Taco Bell is noticing this, is hearing the news about this, Taco Bell head office, and saying, we need to open another Taco Bell in Newfoundland.
Just to slow things down? Like, maybe that's what they need to do.
Why don't they just come up with a Taco Bell pop-up? Just a temporary pop-up somewhere, just to ease the traffic and uncongest the situation until, and then, because you see pop-up Tim Hortons's, you see pop-up kind of restaurants every now and then. I'm sure they can figure something like that out. And imagine the publicity they would get if Taco Bell themselves went in and solved the crisis.
That is such a great idea. If they had like kind of like a food truck sort of thing, and it was, one was parked in, this corner of the city, one was parked at this corner of the city, and they could make it a big thing. Like the demand is so high that it's like almost emergency relief that they're there doing this. I would love to see a solution like that. This whole thing going to court, that's just a lose-lose for everybody. The city has already wasted so much time and money over a Taco Bell. Only in Newfoundland, only in Canada could this kind of craziness continue. We'll keep our eyes on this story. Keep Canada Weird is not done following Taco Bell's takeover of Newfoundland, but we have a lot more unique and offbeat news stories over the past week that played out in Canada to get into tonight. I got two right off the bat that I want to jump into fast. Both involve cars. You want to get into two car stories
Let's just get into a car.
and go to Taco Bell in Newfoundland?
Yeah.
This is a really good one. Let me introduce it this way. Police in British Columbia pulled over a 22-year-old driver who was speeding at 130 kilometers in an Acura that officers described as possibly the fastest but shittiest car in British Columbia.
A 22-year-old driver was recently pulled off the road for speeding in a car that police say was held together with duct tape and wishful thinking. The makeshift modifications included rebar and duct tape in place of a rear window and a welded gate latch to secure the driver's side door. The car was clocked going 130 kilometers an hour in an 80K zone on Highway 3. Police say it was amazing it could go that fast without disintegrating.
Short and sweet news clip, but I don't think the news clip really does the pictures that police released justice, because this is truly a shitty car.
Yeah, but I would like to applaud them on kind of some of the ingenuity they used to keep this car afloat, like the gate lock and the duct tape and everything that they've done to basically, keep the dream alive with their little Acura. And I think that's great. I think cars have become very disposable now in this day and age. When you buy a brand new car, a lot of people only keep them for a couple of years and then either trade it in or whatever. And they also start to fall apart so easily now. Like things start going, after a couple of years, cars start to fall apart and nothing is built to last anymore. And these people are sticking their finger in the face of cars that fall apart because they will make sure that this car stays apart for as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, like I think what this 22-year-old is doing is his version of a story we covered probably 6 or 8 months ago, the guy who put over 1 million kilometers on his car, and we had the debate of, is it even the original car? Because so much has been replaced. This is kind of like the 22-year-old's version of that. And I think I agree with you. I applaud this guy for what he's doing with the car and his ability to stretch out the dollar. It's hard to make ends meet nowadays, and it seems like this guy is bending over backwards to keep himself in a vehicle. That's great, but going 130 in an 80 zone is not great.
I agree this person should not have been speeding, or even stunting, as they would call it, when you're going so far past the speed limit. And so I can't condone that reckless behavior, but I think that this, celebrate this individual a little bit.
Maybe give him a warning, you're saying.
Yeah, just let him go. Just let him go. He's been through enough. He clearly is patching this Frankenstein vehicle up for, life reasons, right? So
Okay, let's move on. So you're supportive of the 22-year-old in the duct tape gate locked car. Let's see what you think about this second car story. Turns out some interesting things happened in cars in Canada last week. This one, it's going to be a listener who brings this story to us. Her name is Jess. Here's the story she thought we would want to hear.
Hey guys, it's Jess from Ottawa here. I just had an idea for a story on Keep Canada Weird. I'll let you do the research, but here's a little rundown. Ottawa police stop unlicensed 13-year-old driver on Candy Run. So I'll let you look into that if you want to. It happened in my town. So yeah, have a good one.
Jess is doing the work a Keep Canada Weird correspondent should be doing and bringing us these unique and offbeat stories from their neck of the woods. And this is a good one. This is one of the stories that the media has largely been silent, but I did find an article we can read. Should I read it? Should you read it? Or is there someone else we can get involved in this?
There's always someone who's looking for work that because print media is down now, so the newsboy isn't getting the amount of work that he did back in the 1930s.
Okay, where he's from.
So he could use any amount of work that we're willing to throw his way.
We'll give him a kombucha and a Cove soda if he does it. Go grab him.
Okay. He's right here by my side at all times anyway, so. Extra, read all about it. Ottawa traffic stop breaks up puberty problem related candy run. I love candy. Ottawa police say they stopped a slow-moving vehicle this week and quickly realized they were dealing with yet another symptom of the puberty problem that has been plaguing Canadians. Officers spotted a car traveling at an unusually low rate of speed along Strandherd Drive in the Barrhaven area. Despite the vehicle moving at a crawl, it was struggling to stay in its lane on the typically busy road. When police conducted a traffic stop, instead of finding what they expected to be an impaired driver, they found a 13-year-old behind the wheel with 2 passengers around the same age. The trio told officers they were simply going on a candy run to a nearby gas station. None of the kids had or would qualify for a driver's license. Police put an end to this candy run by contacting the children's parents. It has not been revealed whose vehicle was being driven, although it's assumed to be one of their family vehicles, and was hopefully taken without permission.
Not a good look, 13-year-olds. Of all the ways to get to the gas station to get candy, but like that article says, I hope it was done without permission and it wasn't one of their parents like giving them the okay to do this.
Well, maybe it's a very mature 13-year-old, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. I mean, You've proven yourself. You can do it.
Yeah, it's this kid who had the 22-year-old who had the duct taped car. When he grows up, he's gonna let his 13-year-old take the car, the family car, down to the gas station.
It's like if they did give permission, though, like in this hypothetical scenario of the parent said, "Okay, yes, you can take the car, go get some candy, just come right back. Don't go anywhere else." You would think they wouldn't let the other two go with whoever's going to drive, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be like, only one of you can go, because if you get into an accident, that way not all of you will die.
3 like 13-ish-year-old boys. I'm assuming this is boys. I can't imagine girls would be dumb enough to do this. I feel like 3 13-ish-year-old boys in any context are going to be in trouble or get into trouble without parental supervision. The idea of the 3 of them getting in a car and driving around, like this could have ended pretty bad. When the cop pulled them over, I'm assuming they were expecting to find an impaired driver. The car is going really slow, struggling to stay in the lane. To find 3 kids in there, that cop in a way must have laughed, but in another way must have been like, what is this world coming to?
Yeah. Did they give a ticket to the...
What can you even do to 13-year-olds?
Charge them like with whatever what would you call that?
Well, first you'd have to think about how they got the car. Is it a stolen car? Then the crime, I guess, would just be like driving without a license.
Yeah. I think there's a specific joyriding. I think it's called. Yeah,
but even still, it's when an adult gets that ticket, it's a big deal because you end up like, you'll lose your license longer or whatever. If that happens to a 13-year-old, I'm sure I don't think it would have much of an effect. I think the bigger issue in a story like this is getting back to the kids' parents, what they did. But in the end, I think everyone can just agree, like, it's good that didn't turn out worse, and don't let that happen again. These kids they need to be grounded.
Yeah, I can relate. I got pulled over one time. I didn't have a license.
Really? Do you want to tell that story publicly?
Well, it's been long enough. I think I'll be all right.
Okay. What happened?
Yeah, so I was 17, I think. And I used to have a copy of my dad's key to his car that I used to like keep hidden in my room. And whenever nobody was home, I would take the car out for a little rip. Nothing crazy, maybe shoot up. I didn't live far from the mall, so maybe I'd shoot up to the mall and go there for a bit and come back. And one time, a buddy of mine was over and we were just hanging out at my place. Nobody else was home. I was like, do you want to take the car for a rip? We'll go into town, we'll shoot the drag, and then we'll come back. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I do it all the time. So so we went for a drive, and then, we went to the mall, we went into town, we shot the drag, we hung out, we had a good time, and then I dropped him off at his house. And then he's like, call me when you get home because I want to make sure you're okay, like that you don't get pulled over on your way home. I said, sure. So I go home and I call him, said, yeah, I'm home, dude, no problem. See you later. And then I was kind of like still amped up and just kind of wandering around the house bored. And I'm like, it's 11:30. I think there might still be some people in town. Like maybe I'll go and see if anybody needs a ride home. And so I get back into the car and then I drive back into town. I shoot the drag once. I don't see anybody around. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going home.
I just want to stop you for 1 sec. I don't know if shoot the drag is just like a Cape Breton thing. That means drive down the main strip in downtown, right?
Yeah, you just kind of drive in circles around a loop in town. Yeah.
Okay, so continue. So you're shooting the drag.
Yeah. So then there's no one around. So then I just pull into this video store parking lot. It's in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. And I just do a U-turn and then I come back out because I was just turning around. And then I see this cop get out of his ghost car. He was parked in a ghost car in that parking lot. And he gets out and he flags me over. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in big trouble. I don't have a license. And so he's walking over to my car. And in these moments when it happens and everything slows right down and your mind is running through all of the possibilities of what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get arrested and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. And I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking all this stuff, and then he's kind of slowly coming over, and then he gives me the gesture to roll my window down, and so I roll it down, and I'm like, and I'm totally calm because I've settled emotionally on the fact that I'm in trouble. There's nothing I can do, so there's no point in being upset. There's no point in anything. So I was just completely calm, and I roll the window down, and I say, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "You can't do U-turns in this parking lot." And I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know that. He's like, oh, there's a sign right there. And I was like, I didn't see the sign. He's like, well, I'll let you off with a warning. And I'm like, all right, sorry about that. Thanks. Have a good night. And then he went back into his car. And then I just slowly pulled out of the parking lot and then just left and slowly drove home.
Wow. Good work. That put a bit of wind at our back. And I think that's propelling us into the next segment of stories. Let's take a quick break. And while we're there, we'll celebrate that things didn't end horribly for you that night. But when we get back from the break, we're going to get into two stories that I think should involve demolition. One involves a house that has been demolished. The other involves an abandoned fish plant in Newfoundland that everybody wants demolished. We'll get into that after a short break. Handsome Aaron Airport, we're going back to Newfoundland. For over 10 years, St. Mary's, Newfoundland has been living amongst a stench. When a fish sauce company abandoned their production facility in the community, they left behind over 100 vats of rotting fish sludge. Over the past decades, attempts have been made to get someone to deal with the mess, but it hasn't happened, and the stench has grown worse and worse. But the whole thing seems to have boiled over during a windstorm just last week that knocked down an exterior wall of the building. Here's the story of the rotting, stinking mess that St. Mary's, Newfoundland has been dealing with.
Inside this crumbling building and its leaking massive vats, a foul mix of fermenting fish.
People says to me, it can't be that bad. I says to them, come over and live here for a month. You'll know what it's all about.
A thorn in the side of this town and its council for the past 25 years, when this fish sauce plant was first shut down by the Canada Food Inspection Agency. In the fall, there was finally some progress with the funding promise from the provincial government to gut and clean this property. But last Saturday, a windstorm ripped pieces away from the building and freed the odors to spread more easily throughout the community.
The physical damage in this building is plain to see, but what my camera can't easily transmit is the smell in here. A putrid mix of garbage and fermenting fish. It's overwhelming to anyone who gets near.
And according to neighbors living near the plant, has been a nightmare.
They said an animal won't live near that, and no rat or no cat will go around it. We're breeding it now, 10 years. It's supposed to be good for us.
Environment Canada put a stop to a cleanup effort in 2016 that dumped the vats of sauce into the ocean. According to the mayor, federal testing revealed the substance was toxic to fish and wildlife. Residents here say there's been decades of inaction, so they're sick of talking about the plant. Even if provincial officials are now promising it really will be cleaned this time, locals say they'll believe it when it's gone.
I've always thought fish sauce was disgusting. Like sometimes you're at like a Chinese restaurant or something and they have fish sauce, which I think is kind of like a soy sauce sort of thing. I always thought, the name of it turns me off. This idea of sauce made out of fish seems disgusting to me. But these big vats of the fish that are rotting to become fish sauce, which is it's just layers of disgusting. Having those vats full of these rotting fish for like over 10 years is absolutely disturbing. Hundreds of vats, and they're big. These are like giant bathtubs of rotting fish for decades now in an abandoned building without any air conditioning or ventilation.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting. And the fact that they thought, in this previous cleanup effort that they could just dump it all into the ocean. And it's like, what are you thinking? Like, this is gross and wrong on every level. There is not a right thing about this. And it completely just fries my brain to think that you can own a building and let it completely rot, and nobody's going to stop that. Nobody's going to do anything about it. Nobody's going to force you to deal with this problem. So then anybody who lives in the area of this abandoned building, which even if it doesn't contain, expired, grotesque, awful smelling fish sauce and rotting fish carcasses, even just an empty, abandoned building is an awful thing to let sit there and rot in your community. You should be forced to deal with it after a certain amount of years. And that doesn't happen anywhere. And it just rots and nobody does anything about it. And teenagers, a puberty problem, lights fires in there. Rodents have a place to live, and then they, completely dominate the area because they have shelter. And there's just all of these problems that occur, and the unsightliness of it too. It's not just the smell. It's not just the potential danger. It's a complete degradation of the aesthetic of the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's awful. And people live very close to this. It's also, the building is 300 meters away from a school. Which is I don't know why they didn't mention that in the news story, but that part really surprises me. It's near like a ball field or a soccer field, and a school is like right there. There's even been some talk about evacuating the school or moving the students to another area because it's always stunk. But now that wall has fallen in that storm, it's like this god-awful stench just flowing out of that place.
You have to either completely demolish and clean it up now or move the children, because they're going to be showing up after recess covered in rancid fish sauce. Like, this is crazy. The fact that this occurs in a modern civilized society, it completely blows my mind. This can't be real.
You say modern civilized society, but keep in mind it's happening in the same part of Canada where people are about to go to court over the lineups outside of the Taco Bell that opened a few weeks ago. So I say this a lot. things happen a little different in Newfoundland, and we just got to accept that. But I just hope the people in this community find some kind of solution. They're at the point, as we heard in that clip, they don't even want to talk about it. They have long since given up, it seems. If the municipality can't handle it, the province or the federal government needs to just deal with this mess. It's disturbing. And I don't even want to think about it anymore because the idea of rotten, stinking, fermenting fish in a vat in an abandoned building is too much for me. Let's go to a story of not something that should be demolished, but something that has been demolished. A Mississauga man received a text message that no one ever wants to receive. He was on vacation, and it was a text from his neighbor showing a picture of his house being demolished by an excavator. As he came to learn, a demolition crew had been sent to tear down a different house across the street and down the road a ways. But they showed up at the wrong place. Here's the story of accidents happening in Mississauga.
So this whole portion had gone.
This is the lot where Angelo Wrightson's house used to be.
It was just complete and utter shock, to say the least.
A shock when he was on vacation with his family and got this picture through a text from his neighbor. His house halfway to rubble.
I couldn't believe my eyes.
His pictures and videos show what the house was like in 2018 before and after. It became an open house well after it was listed for sale.
I have a family, 3 children, so I think it's quite unfair to them and to my wife, who cries on a daily basis over this situation.
He sued Como Trucking and Excavation and others for $1.5 million, alleging instead of demolishing the building property located at 24 Theodore Drive, Mississauga, the defendants demolished or partially demolished beyond repair the building owned by the plaintiffs at 28 Theodore Drive. The dispute stuck in court since then.
The bigger shock, I would say, is that it's been 7.5 years.
CTV News got in touch with Kevin Como, who admitted a worker dropped the excavator off at the wrong house. But he said the mistake was more understandable because the homeowner had taken steps to get a demolition permit and cut off utilities. The legal dispute about how much to pay back, more for a complete house or less for a partial one. The contractor's insurance company, Intact, telling CTV News, our team continues to be engaged in discussions and has made a number of attempts to reach a reasonable resolution. Wrightson's said he did think about knocking the house down and building a dream home there, but stopped because he didn't have the cash. He also didn't have his own home insurance.
My wife thought I had taken care of it, and vice versa.
Depending on what damages the court settles on, he might have that cash to get that dream home after all.
So I want to just set you up for something here. We talked a while back about people who were going on the news to try to get some money out of a situation. We heard about the guy who had someone peed on his car in his carport. He wanted a whole bunch of money. And then there was the man who was fat shamed on the WestJet plane. He wanted his vacation paid for. This story on its surface is about a man whose home was torn down 7 years ago by mistake. He claims his wife is still crying about it every day. And he wants $1.5 million. But as you listen to the story, it seems like the home was on its way to being torn down. It was vacant. Yeah. It didn't have insurance. I'm kind of thinking, a part of me is thinking, did they not maybe save this guy money by tearing down that house for free?
Yeah, because when you're listening to the story, it starts off, you're very sympathetic for the individual, and you're like, oh my God, how could this be? They're trying to only offer him reimbursement for part of the house, just the part that was demolished. But then when he gets into the not having insurance, and then the company saying that the mistake was easy to make because the house had put in for a demolition at some point anyway, and
yeah, it was in the early phases of applying for a demolition permit and had the services disconnected. So it was because what I was thinking when I first heard this story and I was listening to the beginning, I thought, wouldn't the demolition crew be shocked that, the doors are locked, it's full of furniture?
Yeah, the dog is in the house, the kids are playing in the backyard. Yeah. It's well, that's where the excavator is, so that's where I'm demolishing. Yeah. It just seems...
that's not the case. And a part of me thinks it seems like maybe they did him a favor, or they should have just come up with some kind of... they made a mistake, so they maybe should pay the price a bit, but they should have come up with some kind of solution that isn't $1.5 million, because what damage
It seems
did they
like
really
the company who did the demolition by accident knows more about the situation than we know from the news story. So they're probably looking at it like, well, this is just a house that was vacant, that had been vacant for years and was just sitting there, and you didn't really know what you were going to do with it anyway. You were applying to have it demolished to begin with. So we're not going to reimburse you the regular value of a full home because that's not quite the situation that we're dealing with here. It seems like they knew more about the whole story as opposed to what we get from the news coverage.
And reading between the lines there, I think the insurer, the demolition crew's insurer also kind of suggested that. They said, we've made like multiple attempts to come up with a reasonable solution or offer. So I don't know. I feel like maybe he's asking for a bit too much and is pushing it hard. But here's the thing. We got an update to this story right away. This story aired just last week. For some reason, 7-ish years after this all happened, this guy ends up on the news speaking out about it last week. I think like the day after the story aired, an update aired. I won't play the news clip. I'm just going to read you a short update because there's not a lot to it. The long-running legal dispute over the mistaken demolition has come to an end. After nearly 7 years of court proceedings, the homeowner, the contractor, and the contractor's insurance company reached a settlement following a closed-door hearing just days before the case was set to go to trial. The terms of the agreement have not been made public, but it officially closes one of the more bizarre demolition mix-ups to come out of the Greater Toronto area. So, as we hear, they must have had some kind of hearings just before whatever court stuff was about to happen, and they made a settlement there. I wonder if he backed down, thinking like, if this goes to trial, I'm not going to get anything. I was in the process of demolishing it anyway.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see what the actual settlement was. And they're probably like, listen, here's the reality. Take what you can get, walk away, and move on with your life. And then maybe your wife will stop crying every day. Because 7.5 years of crying every day?
Over the...
Like even on her birthday, like really?
I don't want to downplay her trauma and how upset I would be if this happened to me, even if it was a...
But they weren't living in the house.
I know.
Living in the house.
They made that at the beginning of the news clip as well. They set us up for that because they made it sound like he was on vacation and his home, he found out his home was demolished.
Yeah.
But whether or not he was on vacation or whether he was at home, it's all irrelevant because he lives somewhere else and probably a much nicer house.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to get a free vacation out of it. And he's like, I was on vacation and my vacation was ruined because I, heard about my house being demolished by accident all of a sudden. And then now I want a free vacation.
Yeah, I wonder if the closed door settlement involved $1.5 million and his trip to Cuba reimbursed. Who knows? But we'll never know. But either way, it's just that could happen. It's kind of crazy, but at the same time, it was a unique circumstance where the house that was getting demolished, or that should have been demolished, was across the street and very close to another house that was like ready or nearly ready and staged for a demolition. So I give them a bit of a pass on it. It's just a really awful situation, I think, for everybody in this.
Yeah, and especially the wife.
Oh yeah, she took it hard.
Yeah.
Let's have a moment of silence for her. We'll take a quick break, our final break of the night. When we get back, we got two special things. One is a WTF story, which is just a bizarre and unusual story, maybe the story of the week, I don't know. But we also, let me ask you this, Aaron, what's in about a month from now?
Valentine's Day?
Yeah. So guess what we got later tonight?
Oh, we
got a dating profile, buddy.
A dating profile, yes. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
We haven't played Matchmaker in a hot minute, but we'll get into that after this short break.
Yeah.
Handsome Aaron Airport. This is going to be big. We got a WTF story, and it involves horses. A hobby farmer in North Cowichan, British Columbia, is going public after discovering that someone had snuck into their farm and quietly clipped nearly 2 feet of hair from their horse, Gypsy. And it turns out their horse isn't the only victim of this. Here is the story of North Cowichan's horse haircut mystery.
She is an Arab quarter horse cross.
The owner of a friendly horse in North Cowichan is going public with a puzzling picture.
This is her tail, which normally sits pretty close to the ground. So they've cut off probably 2 feet.
Gypsy's owner and her tenant noticed the mysterious clipping before the holidays, when the horse was brought in from the hobby farm's feeding area after dinner.
I was already in bed for the night, and she just said, did you cut Gypsy's tail? No, of course I did not. She goes, well, she's missing half her tail. It's not chewed. It frays if the animals chew it.
Leanne thinks the person got in cutting a barbed wire fence and took it personally until she heard it happen to someone else nearby.
I have not yet reached out to them, but that's my goal this week, is just to let the police know. I don't know what they can do. I'm not going to, put a lot of pressure on them to solve the big mystery of the horsetail cutting. There's a lot more important things they have to do with their time than this, but more than anything, I just want the community to be aware.
She wonders if a person is trying to use the hair for art.
Their tails serve a purpose. They protect them. They're indicators, they're communicators. They use them for a lot of things. It's not just this fancy thing that hangs down and swishes around.
Leanne says she'll be using fly sheets to protect Gypsy from getting bitten by bugs while they wait for the hair to grow back over the next 2 years.
So she doesn't want to put a lot of pressure on the police to solve this. I think that may be a mistake. Whoever would sneak into a farm and go up to a horse and cut its... I guess it's not fair to say cut its tail off, because they didn't cut the tail. They just cut all the hair or like half of the hair. But I feel like that's a pretty brazen, maybe a disturbed individual that would do that.
Or it's a very specific crime where there's maybe a market for horsehair or for in some capacity. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what the market would be. They suggested maybe it was someone using it as for art. I mean, there must be a type of art I don't know anything about, because I've never seen like horsehair art. I would have thought if there was any use in horsehair, it would be maybe like wigs or something,
or like some type of clothing. Like
you need so much of it to make clothing.
But maybe there's people that buy it so that they can make this particular sweaters out of horsehair, and it's a luxury item that they can sell on the dark web. I don't know, but
the dark web. Yeah. I'm buying a horsehair sweater. I love how coarse and itchy, how coarse it is, and how itchy it makes me.
I'm sure it makes an interesting sweater, I would imagine.
Yeah, it could be. I just I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I would have thought it was like a prank maybe, but for them to have done it to another horse, there must be some reason.
Because
this didn't happen. And I should also say this didn't happen in the middle of the night. It happened in the evening. There was like a 2-hour period where no one had eyes on the horse because it was in this like feeding area. It had a tail when it went in, and when it came out, it had just a stubby, nubby thing. And it was definitely cut. When you watch this news clip, it's not like it got caught in something and ripped or something. It's like a clean cut, like when the barber goes across your bangs with scissors. Is what it looks like.
Yeah, and the theory of somebody doing art doesn't really add up, because somebody who does art is not the type of person who's going to sneak on to horse stables or farms and cut off half of a horse's tail for their art.
It doesn't seem like the type, but there are a lot of like outsider artists who do strange things. I just thought of one use for horsehair. When you play like a fiddle or a violin, aren't the bows? I think that's horsehair that's in the bows.
It could be. It could be.
I could be wrong, but I think it's a bunch of them. But that wouldn't be right for this because it's only about 2 feet. I don't know if that'd be, well, that'd be about long enough for a bow.
I don't know, but I think it's somebody knows someone who buys horsehair for a specific reason. So they can get a decent amount of money for whatever amount of horsehair that they can bring in. So it's definitely put on the shelf of unusual crimes, similar to the butter thefts, and if it continues, then yeah, we've got a whole new case to crack here.
We have a case to crack. I do also want to just talk a bit about what this does to the horse, because this wouldn't have physically hurt the horse, the actual act of cutting the hair. It's just the loose hair at the end of at the end of the tail. So the horse wouldn't have felt a thing. But much like a dog, I noticed my sweet Penny, my beautiful black pot cake, she's very expressive with her tail. I can really read her attitude and her mood. And like she can communicate with her tail. I know if she's playful, if she's scared, if she's relaxed. If someone cut the hair off my girl Penny's tail, I don't even want to tell you what I'd do to them.
Is Penny sweet?
She is a very sweet girl. Thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah. What about beautiful?
She's the most beautiful girl you've ever seen. She has beautiful black and white fur, big, beautiful, like brownish black eyes. She's a gorgeous dog. And I'll tell you, we had a nice snowstorm the other day. It was, I think we got about 15 to 18 centimeters of snow. It was Penny, who's from the Bahamas, first significant snowfall. And I brought her to the off-leash dog park. And it was like Penny, this little Bahamian dog, and a whole bunch of huskies. And she was in heaven. It was the best day of her life. And if you could only see how happy she was and how happy that made me as her rescue owner, father, best friend, your heart would grow 10 sizes.
So long story short, she's sweet.
She's sweet. I love Penny so much, but not in the same kind of way that our next guest is looking to love someone and have someone love them. Many moons ago on Keep Canada Weird, we kind of shifted the tone of the show and we tried to keep Canada romantic. And we thought, Aaron, Jordan, how can we keep Canada romantic? What we came up with was to air listener correspondent dating profiles in hopes that someday we can make a match. Someone somewhere out there on the interwebs in the Keep Canada Weird listenership will find someone that they've been waiting their entire life for in a completely different way than I've been waiting my entire life for Penny. Tonight, we're going to revisit the mission of keeping Canada romantic. We have another dating profile. It's Shay. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm so excited. It's been so long since we've had a dating profile. We've been unsuccessful in having one match through this show. So maybe this will be the one.
And it's not due to the quality of the participants. Every dating profile that has come to us, I've thought, this is going to be easy. This is a slam dunk home run. It's a love story ready to happen. Maybe it'll happen tonight. Let's let Shay take the mic.
Hey, my name is Shay. I am a Pacific Northwest American, and I'm submitting this dating profile for no particular reason to a Canadian podcast. Longtime listener, first-time date caller. I'm a biologist. I have a PhD, which really doesn't mean much here. Actually, it's pretty detrimental. So hopefully somebody up there could look past that. I am about 5 feet tall, pretty athletic. I really like animals and being out in nature. Long walks in the wilderness before it's sold to oil companies, that type of thing. I'm also a homesteader. I'm very good at raising poultry. I can garden. I can actually fix vehicles. And I think most importantly, I really know how to make my own bacon. So I can take sides of pork and brine it and smoke it and slice it and package it. It's pretty delicious. And I am looking for a Canadian citizen who's really into bacon and poultry and maybe just a little bit of biology and willing to accept my doctorate. I'm a strong believer in the animal uprising, and I hope you'll consider throwing my dating profile out there. Thank you very much.
Wow. I don't think this is an American just trying to jump ship and find a way into Canada. I think that was a pretty sincere delivery of a dating profile. Hearing about Shay, she sounds like a fantastic catch for someone out there who's into biology and bacon.
Yeah, I wonder if she's into making sweaters out of horsehair.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
She's a homesteader, and I think a part of being a homesteader is being able to like live off the land and survive. She says homesteader, but in my mind, that's like survivalist. And let me just say one thing here. She mentioned I'm a believer in the animal uprising. She's like a homesteader type who's raising her own food and looking after things, worried about the animal uprising. I think she may be uniquely qualified to survive this thing. And she's a biologist. Like, actually, when the animal uprising happens, whoever's with Shay does have a shot.
Yeah, no, a good shot. As good a shot as you're going to get, I think. And I mean, Shay checks all the boxes. I gotta be honest here. And
does the doctorate turn you off, though?
Turn me off?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great thing. I think, it shows that Shay is educated and I don't know. Yeah, I think it's.
But what is that? But think of when you sit down for dinner, glass of wine, across the table is someone with a doctorate. Are you going to feel maybe a little small, handsome Aaron Airport?
No. I mean, she listens to this show on at least a semi-regular basis, so she can't be that much in the clouds. But I don't know. Shay's great. I mean, somebody would be lucky to have her, it sounds like, and I think someone should reach out, and it probably sounds like Shay would move here.
Yeah, if you're out there and Shay sounds like someone for you, go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact. You can either fill in the little form and let us know you're interested, or reply in a voicemail, and I can send the recording to Shay, and you can make it happen. And you just got to keep us up to date with how the romance progresses. We'd be very interested in hearing about that.
We want to hear about every single aspect of what's happening between the two of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you out there, correspondents and listeners of Keep Canada Weird, would like your dating profile aired, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. This is a great time to go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and tell us about you and what type of person you'd like to fall in love with this year. And we'll see if we can keep Canada romantic and make it happen for you.
Yeah. Let's bring the love back to this country. People are on edge these days, and I don't think they're hugging and kissing as much as they should be.
I think our work here is done, Aaron. We aired a dating profile. We kept Canada weird with a great collection of stories. I got to say it. I say it all the time, but episode 198 of Keep Canada Weird is among my favorite episodes we've ever done. Fist bump, buddy.
Sure, man. Sure. Yeah.
Let's put a bow on this handsome Aaron Airport. Until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, Bonaparte. Until next time.
When I'm done here, I'm going to Google uses for horsehair. I'm not going to do it on the show, but I am going to Google it when I finish up. And we may have an update next week about what this horsehair thief may have been up to. And we'll certainly have an update on the Taco Bell story, because I can't wait to see what's next in that.
Is it a Taco Bell KFC or just a Taco Bell?
Just a Taco Bell.
Okay.
Could you imagine if they threw fried chicken into this?
Oh, it would be complete chaos. There'd be nothing you could do because the city would be on fire right now. But yeah, Jordan, until next time, as the world crumbles, I think we can get ourselves a roll of duct tape, get ourselves a gate latch, and put it all back together again with some weird Canadian news stories and drive 130 kilometers an hour off into the sunset of happiness.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. A premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.
And now to our viewers and listeners everywhere. Good night.
I've been taking a break from Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, doing Sydney Sweeney?
No, I'm just kind of swiping quickly past any content that has Sabrina in it because I'm just getting too wrapped up.
Yeah, just the too deep of a rabbit hole, yeah. And it's not reciprocated. She does nothing for you.
No, exactly. And it's like anytime I see dating rumors of her dating somebody, I legit get jealous. Like, actually jealous. Like, in a way when it's like as if it was a real person, you know? Like someone you dated before and you see that they're like...
Yeah, but it's the feelings are real, right?
So then it's like, man, I need to just back away.